All right, guys. Here we go again. Take number 2. So I had to turn the camera from portrait to landscape. So we're gonna do a full fade with the classic 76, or you can call it, you can use this machine, the andis Supra zr2 or the zr1. And I'm gonna show you guys how simple it is and how misunderstood this machine actually is. So I said it before, but I'll say it again. Special thanks to Tommy and also for letting us do this. So with the Supra, you have variable speeds, so you're gonna hear the motor go up and down depending on what I'm doing in particular, all right? So let's start. We're gonna start with our half guideline, which I call the OA half. Now, people don't understand this machine because you're supposed to fade down with it, not up. If you fade up with it, it's incredibly difficult. And you'll see exactly what I mean by it. There's only one time in this entire process that I'm going to switch to another machine. And I'm going to either switch to the Andis Master or I'm going to switch to the Stylecraft Instinct or TPOD Goblin, depending on what you have. All right. So as I go forward, I'm gonna once in a while take a peek at the camera to make sure that I got you guys in the right view. Like I said, I'm new at this, and please bear with me. So while I'm making my initial guideline with the half, I'm making sure not to make a hard line by using a little flick of the wrist, but also while maintaining a certain amount of sliding off the customer's head in an upright position. It's not a perfect C swipe as you would do with other clippers. Kind of weird. It's almost like one of these. So now that we're all in right there, as usual, take a moment to go around the customer's head, make sure that it's symmetrical. And we look pretty good. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drop to a 000. I got this beautiful copper blade that came in with the gold 76 years ago. Oster blade. Again, I'm on the lower settings of the speed. If you don't have multiple speeds and you have a classic 76, you're gonna have to be a little bit more careful, but you can make it happen. Yeah, I worked with the 76 for most of my career. I was blessed that Andis came out with something so nice that's cordless and just as powerful. Now we're gonna take the 000. We're not gonna go all the way up to the half. We're gonna go about halfway or 3/4 of the way. Depends how much guts you have to get up there close to there. Because you already know the next step. We're gonna go in there with the Master, or we're gonna go in there with the Stylecraft Instinct, and we're gonna blend that final line out. Now, Tommy's hair is interesting because it has some blonde highlights in it and some brown. So in certain light, you actually can't see the line, and other lights you can see the line. But he always comes out with a great blend, if I may say so myself. You can see the layers. He's not one of those guys who's platinum blonde where you really can't see the transition. So running through quickly and getting up to that guideline. I gotta leave enough space here underneath this 000 for the 50 and for the box shaver. So I'm keeping that in mind as well. So there's those two things going on. I don't want to get too close to that half, and I don't want to not leave enough space. Now in the back, of course, you don't have that space restriction because in the back you have space, but on the sides around the ears, you're working with a tighter little space constraint, if you will. So I just feel like maybe I didn't go high enough with the half here. So I'm just gonna double check that. I do that pretty often with my haircuts, and most of the time I find that I was correct the first time, but I always second guess myself. So back to the 000. And notice that when I'm fading this way, right? I'm kind of doing this, and I'm attacking whatever the dark areas are. That's what makes fading with this machine so different in comparison to fading with a clipper that has a lever. So we're done for now with this. And as you go around the head, hopefully you guys can see there's not much of a line. So this is the hardest part of the whole haircut, fighting this one little line. And you can see there's not much to fight there. So I'm gonna break out my master. I'm gonna start half. And I'm going to listen carefully. I don't hear anything cutting at all. I hear a slight little bit of chip. So I'm gonna chip away at it. I'm using my ears, I'm using my eyes. Now I'm gonna drop down a half of a notch. And I'm looking, chipping away at it. Chipping away at it, slowly softening that line. Now, anybody that's here, who's working here, or anybody I see cutting hair, I wouldn't complain if they left this line here. But that's the difference between providing exceptional quality and low quality, the fine tuning of things. And nowadays, haircuts cost a lot of money. Your money doesn't go so far, so you want to make sure customers feel appreciated and they get top-notch service. So I just keep going down on that lever and just chipping away at that line, because the difference between a good skin fade and a bad skin fade is all in between a half and a 000. I stand by that. If that line is hard, the whole haircut looks like trash. And also's got a lot of experience, I think you'd agree, right? Half to the 000 is where all the work is. So I kind of just keep going down a little bit on that lever, attacking that line. And I'm happy. Right here, I'm totally happy. Now I'm gonna address the other side here. So the thing about these guards is they're running at such a high speed that every time you were to flick out the machine like that with the Andis Supra or your 76, it's already doing some of the blend for you. And I think that that's what people don't realize, is that these things are moving at such a crazy speed that just going like that is flaring out the hair. So you're getting a soft line. And I'm listening. As soon as I slide from here on the skin, slide up, as soon as I hear the hair cutting, that's when I give it the flick. I don't start doing that until I hear the hair cut. That's why I always start, you can start down here, it wouldn't matter. Right around there. I can see where it was gonna make the noise, so I started doing it ahead of time. We're gonna go down a little bit more. I really hope that you guys can see me with my lever. That's why I keep turning my wrist, but I can't tell because when I'm cutting, I can't watch the screen at the same time. But that's it. The hardest part of this haircut is officially finished. Now I could go around here, somebody with OCD 100 times, you're done with that section, that's finished. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump down to the 5-0 blade. And the 5-0 blade, just in case somebody's watching this without audio, there you go. 5-0 blade. And I'm at maximum speed. And I'm gonna just go underneath. Just like that. Just like that. Alright, so this is a low skin fade, obviously. If you're gonna do a high skin fade, I don't think I even have to say this, but you just have to start that initial half a little higher up. There we go. There we go. There we go. I hope you guys had a great holiday. God is good. Wonderful time with family. I was telling the fellas here about it. My daughter, she dressed up as we dressed her as a Christmas toy elf. So beautiful. One of the best Christmases I had in a long time. When you have kids, it's a different kind of Christmas. It's great. She got 101 gifts. Not that she knows, you know, what's going on, but she does enjoy the toys, which is beautiful. So that's it for the 5-0. Okay, let's move on. This is the part that always blows people's minds that this is possible. Now, we're gonna go, remember we had the half guard up here. Now we're gonna go here. And this is where people are in disbelief with the 1.5. And I almost feel bad giving you guys this secret because it took me so many years to figure this out, but I gotta be honest, I'm part of this community. I wanna see people make money, I wanna see people do things with their life. And if you can put more money in your pockets for your family, I'm happy with that. Here we go. I hope I'm not in front of the camera. I'm not? Okay, good. This is 1.5. Now you might be saying, oh Andrew, it's because his hair is part blonde. That's why it looks like it's blending so well. Nope. I do people with pitch black hair, Native Americans, Latinos, and this works. My black brothers, I do their hair like this, it works. So don't come at me like that. Don't try to say that I don't know what I'm talking about. This works. Doesn't matter what race or color hair you have, it works. And don't try to use the exception of the rule to justify this. Because, of course, there's going to be somebody with hair that it wouldn't blend. That's just the way life works. But 90-something% of customers, you can do this. So sometimes you can do this. You can blend the 1.5 into the OA blade. And you can leave it just like that. Just like that. Nobody's gonna notice, nobody's gonna care. But I don't get down like that. Like I said, people pay good money. I take pride in my work. Been doing this a long time. I'm gonna soften that line because that's what the brother came here for. Good thing. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna soften the line even further. But I know barbershops that will leave the line just like that and keep fading up. We're not going to do that. But just like I said with the Supra and the 76, we're going to fade down. So what's under a 1.5? Obviously, you guys know the answer if you've been cutting hair long enough. 1A. We're going to rock with the 1A. All right. We're just going to attack that light line. But we're also going to reduce the speed a little bit so that we have more control. We're going to chip away at it. We don't want to create any kind of issues. So we start and we chip away. Now we're all playing it by ear because you can't hear the crunch sound with this andis or the 76. It's just too much noise, too much rattle. So you play it by eye and you slowly chip up into that zone. And you look. You can use just the corners. You kind of maneuver it this way, that way. And you come up. There you go. Now lean it down just a bit, thank you, brother. As you can see, it's in those corners. You're just fighting the color here. Just the color. Now, if you liked it with the 1.5, the way it blended into the OA, you're gonna love it right now. You're gonna love that transition with the 1A. And optional, you can go with a number 1 guard, and you can clean that up even further. Now, I just want you guys to know, if you come in and you clean it up with a 1 guard, I want you guys to be incredibly cautious. Incredibly cautious. So if you're new at this technique, and you're nervous, and you're happy with your line, it's acceptable, it's a 7 out of 10, leave it like that. I'll warn you right now, don't get too crazy about making things super perfect if you're new with this technique. You're gonna cause yourself some heartache and pain because you're gonna get far and you're gonna say, oh my gosh, I ruined it. Just leave it. Leave well enough alone. For me, I don't mind doing it because I've been doing this technique for a while. I'm gonna jump back to a 1.5. Again, this is me second guessing myself. I probably don't need to do this. But I have an OCD problem and it ain't going nowhere any day soon. There we go. There we go. So maybe I cut a little bit out of that with the 1.5. I'm not sure. But back to the 1A. Back to the 1A. That's it for that. So now in the back here, I have a pretty damn good blend. But I think that only in the back, only in this section, I think I could benefit from going in with the 1 guard. But everything on the sides blended very, very well. But I think I see a line. I look on the camera. I think I see a little bit of a line. So I'm just going to go up a little A little bit higher, a little more higher with the one end. Yeah, it looks better. That looks better. Okay. So at the end, I'm going to give you guys a full look, because sometimes shadows and things show up on camera that are not really there, or not significantly there. Here's your one. That's that white ceramic blade. My only ceramic blade that I own, actually. For now. Because I do want to get the Andis Master Ghost. And I know also wants me to do that, because then I'm going to sell him my cordless Andis Master. Yeah. Chip that away. It's one of those areas that's kind of optional. I'm kind of playing off two things here. Chipping away, and the fact that the skull is starting to round out the other way slightly. So we're using all of that to our advantage. Alright. So boom, we're done there. Let's move on. And here we're gonna jump right here. Bam. We're gonna jump to that bad boy. Now what I like to do with curly hair or longer hair is I like to separate it. I like to separate it.
What's that, 3.5?
3.5. I like to separate from the front hair to the side hair. So everybody kind of has that 90-degree angle where the forehead is. So I don't want to cut any of the hair that's in the front line, because we don't want anybody to look like they're going balded, especially if they're not. So here we go. We'll need some power for this one. And you're just gonna put it flat against the face and run it straight up. You're not gonna use the contours of the head, because this head happens to contour this way. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna run it straight up. All right, you can see we're getting a nice blend there. We'll come a little this way. That's that. I'm a little tired today, gentlemen. A little slow today. I just took my Bustelo. I'm just still not feeling like myself today, but I remember a time when this skin fade would take me over an hour when I was new at the game, you know? And that's the beauty of life, and especially the beauty of this business. You know, what used to take you a long time, you get more skills, you get more techniques, and subsequently you get more clients and you make more money. So don't be beating yourself up if you're not making the kind of money you want to make yet. Well, you're in the right place if you want to learn something. Because I'm generous with the knowledge I have. I'm not saying I know everything, but I'll give you my secrets if you want to make some money. So this fade is pretty much almost complete. We're going to follow up with the 3.5 with the 2. And the 2 is going to soften the line even further. And then I'm going to call the closer. The closer for almost all of my haircuts is the zr2 Speedo guide, which is your one guard with the Andis Master open. And that's it. That's the closer for almost everything. Whether it's an Andis zr2 fade or it's an Andis Master fade, I always end with that because I have a technique and I always kind of produce things the same way, in the same cycle, if you will, same pattern. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Keep following it. Follow whatever procedure that you have that works. So I know barbershops, and I know you know barbershops. I would just tell the guy who's finished right here, but there is a visible line here, and we're going to come to that line. It's going to come out with the 2, or it's going to come out with the open one guard. And I know it will, because I've done this brother say many times. And if it doesn't, I'm going to look awfully foolish on this camera. I'm prepared for either. Alright. Let's do it. Here we are with the 2. And if you notice, some of my guards are oster, some of my guards are andis. Everything's interchangeable between the 2. Here we go. We're not going to go up as high as we did with the 3. This time I guess it's this particular blade. You hear a little bit of a crunch. So you kind of know when it's eating some hair. Well, that's good. You have to make yourself crazy. You do see the softening of the line. And this side. Okay. All right, so the final step, here we come. I'm gonna go for that double zero guard, and I believe the same guard is, what's the number one guard on the purple magnetics? I feel bad, I asked him a question, he's falling asleep on the gray couch. It's called 000?
Yeah, it has 3 zeros on it.
On the purple?
Yeah.
Okay, so same thing. So actually, it's not the same thing. The double zero is the one that I use. So maybe there's a double zero on the purples as well. I'm not sure. I don't have the purple guards, so I wouldn't know, guys. But okay. And the switch. There we go. We got our 0. Open. What a beautiful blend without even polishing that on this side. But now we're just listening. Now we want the least amount of haircut. Right about there. Right about there. This is gonna marry the 1.5 that I did earlier to the 2 guard that I just did. This is where we reunite them. Reunite them for the first time. And this side. Oh, I think I'm in the way. Sorry, guys. Try to work at a distance here. Work at a distance. It's a rainy, dreary day in New York. I'm gonna go for a jog later. I actually like this kind of weather for running. Anybody want to join me in here? No joggers.
Take a trip.
Oh, nice. We got to take her.
What time?
Oh, probably right when I close, around 7.
Okay.
Yeah, if I get bombarded with clients at the end of the day, I'll have to warn you.
All right.
So you don't get stuck here hanging out with us, because nobody wants to do that. You know, it's weird for me cutting hair without music. I always have something on, whether it's EDM or whatever the case is. Kind of peaceful. You can hear the cars ride by, you hear the rain. You hear the water with each car. All right, guys. That's it. Skin fade is done. 22 minutes in, skin fade finished. For most barbershops, the skin fade is the most expensive service because of the time-consuming nature of it. But I'm gonna actually add the box shaver to it. But before I do that, I just want to get a little close-up so you guys can get a better look at how we're looking without the box shaver. So, like I said, I don't understand this. This is not your typical ring light. This is not my typical ring light. So I'm hoping. Because I'm looking at it and I see no lines at all, but I don't know if may I turn your head slightly, brother? Thank you. I'm hoping that you guys, and then lean down just a bit, you guys don't see anything either. You're looking pretty good to me, and I just want to lean you that way, brother. There we go. I'm going to do the box shaver now. And we'll go back in one more time. Get the final look. I have a little tip for this that I'm gonna throw at you guys. And the tip is, when you do a skin fade, try not to use the box shaver that goes down super duper low, because they all go low. And the difference between that extra millimeter can make it very hard for you to blend that final line out. So I don't recommend the shortest one that you have. Get the one that's just up from there. There we go. TPOB shaver at the bottom. There we go. All right, guys, that is one fresh fade. Now we're gonna give this brother a baby face. I'm gonna call it a day. All right, there you go. There's your andis zr2 tutorial. Pretty clean, pretty quick.